Hello everybody, Burnedoutguy here, and welcome back to Foundry. Alright, today's episode we're going to get into making the Firmarlite plates. I wanted to get into that last episode, but we kind of ran out of time, which is fine though, but we'll get into it this episode. And then after the Firmarlite plates, one of the things that we're going to check into as well, maybe today, is getting into the oils. I'd like to get into the jet fuel, which would be the liquid fuels. Yeah, so we got to make the containers, put it in with the liquid fuel. The liquid fuel comes from low density. The low density just comes from the straight crude. So I think that would be kind of a good thing we also could get into today, or just start anyways. That way we can start flying around a little bit, and I think it would be very good for us. So without further ado, let's go down below and start placing these things haphazardly, because we'll place them however we can get them in there. And even if it doesn't look pretty, it doesn't matter, because it's down below and we don't see it. So let's go down here and check this out. Alright, so now that we're down here, we're going to find the right side of these. We're going to have to look for those little ports. That's going to be the front. And then we'll try to find some half decent placement to put down most of these. So once I get a good little placement down here, I'll come back to y'all and show you what I've got going on here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is what we got going on. Got ourselves a little platform with all of our miners here. These are smelters, sorry. And they're all going to go down here, then loop back around, and then go back upstairs. So, we have to hook them up to here. Alright, so let's start with this side. This one's outputting here. So, we'll put a top here. To make this work properly, I think what we'll do is we'll turn it here, and then we'll have it go here. And we'll put an output on this one. Okay, so we'll have the output on this one, the input there, so down, up, and then we'll do the same on the opposite here, down and then up. So now we'll put the bottoms in here. So that was going to be up, and this is going to be down. Okay, so this is where we got to start off with. Go like this. Alright, so we have one belt that goes all the way around, and then we have another separate belt that comes back down this way. So we shall put a input here and an exit there, and then I'll go around putting all the intakes, and then I'll put the outputs after. So I'll do all that and I'll come back. Alright, so my janky methods are, it goes in, it comes out, and then I got a lot of these joining places all over the, just because it just doesn't work out well with the angles and everything. So, but regardless, everything joins up, and we should be able to send Firmarlite bars down here and get sheets back. So let us do that. We also got to put power on this on this one here too. So that being said, it's pretty easy to do. There, everything should be powered now. No? Do I gotta put that on a power line and then to here? Maybe. Oh, I didn't think that's how that worked. Alright, so I'm running into a little bit of a dilemma with these things. Apparently they're not accepting the grid power from the low voltage. It seems like it's a high voltage to low voltage. So I guess we're gonna have to hook up some kind of high voltage power to this in order to get it to transfer downstairs, I'm guessing. Because I've tried putting a pole in between here and it doesn't help either. Because obviously the pole is not connected to the floor, but this thing is supposed to be connected to the floor, right? The power transfer from that to that, but it makes sense because there's nothing feeding this power. It's got to be fed the power through the top, right? And it outputs the power through the bottom, I'm assuming. So therefore, I think we're going to go and build a geothermal plant, because geothermal is just like right here. We could maybe take advantage of having a small one nearby and then transfer the power to over here. I think that could be a small little plan that we can do. So let's deviate our little plan here, get some materials, and let's go make a geothermal plant. All right, so it looks like we're going to be changing even that, because we can't even do circuit boards yet. We haven't gotten to the oils yet. So it looks like we're going to have to go a small little steam setup. So I think that's what we'll do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we got ourselves a nice little setup here. So we have all the burners in the front, and then behind I put a bunch of boilers. They're connected all daisy chain through here to the floor, and now it says we have grid power. So that means we should have power over hither. Offline. Okay, so we're gonna have to drag power from over here. Okay, so now we've connected power through over here, and we connected directly to the elevator. So let's go and have a look downstairs and see what's happening. Okay, well, that's good. We have our Firmarlite bars coming down. They're all going here. They're all gonna start populating these. Eventually they're gonna get to the end and just stop. And then as you can see now we're gonna have plates coming in. Might always have just that one there, but that's fine, I guess. Maybe we could do something like that too. And that way it always goes on. Yeah. It's a pretty good idea, man. We'll do that. There's a few places where this is going to be a thing. Alright, so there we go. So now we have a small little Firmarlite plate setup. It's nothing great. We're not going to get a full belt, that's for darn sure with this. But that's okay. At least we have some coming in. And I think that's the main thing, right? Alright, so let's go upstairs. Make sure these are all going upstairs properly. Let's go back upstairs and send them into the production line. Alright, now we have our line for our Firmarlite sheets. We can put those going up there. So now we know that everything is all connected. That goes up. Beautiful. So now we have Firmarlite sheets being created. Not a whole ton, but we got some. Yeah, whatever. That can go intermittently. It's not like we're really using a whole whack of them. So let's figure out what's the next thing on our list to do here. I said I wanted to get into the oils, but then there was also thinking about the construction parts. Look at these construction parts. We go to components. They need a Firmarlite sheets for them, right? And these are one of the things I need to make for the big tanks and stuff. So I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to get into making a production line for these things here, and we'll bring them over to an area, and we'll make them, and we'll also ship them up to the station. So that way we don't have to buy them. We can just create them down here. That sounds like an idea. Aha. All right, so let's go up here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've queued up a few things for us to research in the meantime. These are going to be very important for us to continue. First of all, the third loaders. This is so we can get to 3 lanes, because the constructors or the assemblers require, in order to make construction parts, 5 materials, and with the loaders that we have now, we can only do 4 lanes. This will allow us to do a 5th lane. So hover engines are really important. We need to do, because those are part of the maintenance drones. Those maintenance drones are part of the construction industry, and with the big construction industry, we're going to be able to make big things like the long range scanners and the radio tower, and also a bunch of other big buildings later on down the road, which we're going to need. So yeah, very, very important that we go through these steps. So I think while I'm creating some spots here, this is where we're going to make the parts. So we'll have all the parts come off of here and go this way. We are roughly about halfway up this first little section, so this little part right here, we'll dedicate it solely to making construction parts, sending them up to the station, and using them for creating the stuff around our base as well. So that way we can save on money, right? That is the plan, Stan. And once I get a little bit more farther ahead, I'll come back and we'll start setting all this up. Oakley dokley. So now we have everything here separated, and all the parts that we're going to need in order to put into our assemblers in order to make the construction parts are right here. So now we just got to go and hook them all up. Put these here, and like so. Beautiful. So now we just got to go and tell these things what they're making, and that is going to be construction parts, the materials. We can copy that, paste. Wonderful. Then all of these are going to get created, hopefully. And then okay, so this didn't need to be there. How far are we getting down here? Okay, so might take a little bit, I guess, to warm this all up. Who knows? But this guy here seems to be taking a lot. How many do they need? Man, they need a lot, eh? In order to make, or they just fill it right up. Because that's craziness. How much is it for one part? 90 Firmarlite sheets per one. Wow. Okay, that's impressive. I didn't realize the count was so high on all these parts. Oh well, this is I guess future proofed then. Yeah. So as I speed up the belts, we'll be able to get farther down the line, and that will be also dependent on how fast I can create these materials as well, right? So, all right, well that's good. How long do they take a very long time to make though, eh? And how many are we outputting every time we make one? 150. Okay, so you know that's not too shabby if that's the case. Okay. I might feel a little less bad with that. If that would have been like 10 or something like that, I think my heart would have been like broken, but you know, that's pretty good. So we're gonna have like a little storage here in the middle. This is all gonna fill up, and it's gonna be our buffer, hopefully, anyways. In order to, oh, there's only 25 in each. Ooh, that's not gonna be a big buffer, right? Oh wow. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Question mark. Because I guess there's only so much stuff you're gonna be able to repair up top too eventually. So yeah, I guess we'll go with this. This will be fine. Famous last words. Okay, so we shall put in a shipping thing here. That was like perfect. Alright, let's configure you. So we're going to take stuff from the factory and we're going to bring up to the station, and it's going to be construction materials. We're going to be able to put 100 at a time in there. Okay, okay. That's good, that's good. Then we shall link this up. These are really nice that you don't need a loader on them. You just plop them in like that. Mind you, I honestly think that most of the machines should have been made like that to begin with. But anyways, I digress. Because then you could have just had like, you know, oh look, it reads it going out. Oh, look, it reads it going in. But anyways, I don't mind the whole loader thing. It makes things for a little bit bigger, but this looks pretty sexy too, you know, like. But then again, you wouldn't be able to have setups like this if you did it like that. I get it. I get it. It'd be very belt weird. That's for darn sure. But this looks nice. This is pretty good. So far I got like 3 or 4 of these cooking. Okay. Alright. That's not too bad. 3. I can deal with that. Okay. So at least we got those on the go. We got construction parts that are going to get sent to our space station. So there's our first load up to the space station. That will start repairing the things that we need up there. So now we're no longer dependent on buying the construction parts. We can just do it ourselves. Now, there was another thing I wanted to put down too. Where do those things go? Oh, they're down here. So here we got a construction warehouse, is where I guess we could store the construction parts. Then there's the construction ship port and the transport ship. The transport ship. What were these ones for? Okay, so before we can get into any of these, we have to get into the oils because they require the polymer boards and the energy cells and stuff like that. So before we can even think about doing these, well, we're gonna have to get into oil. So that's good. That's good. That's our next step, I guess. But for now, that's all the time I got for today. So the next episode, we'll get into making the oils for sure, because that's where we're really at now. So, but this is looking really good, and I'm liking this. So, everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, peace, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.